Hi everyone, my name is Sir Snorkelbum and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be discussing everything that Capcom announced in their digital event for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. We'll be going over the release date, new locales, new endemic life, new monsters, and a bunch more with a healthy little dose of speculation thrown in. Now we have a lot to get through, so get comfy, grab some snacks, and let's get right to it. First things first, obligatory announcements. Sunbreak launches on June 30th, priced at $39.99 for the digital version. The digital deluxe version will cost $49.99 and includes extra layered armor, gestures, and hairstyles as we're used to seeing. There will also be a collector's edition available in the US and Canada that includes a sticker pack, Elgado Mark enamel pin, an exclusive steelbook, and a Malzeno amiibo for $99.99. Those of you who haven't started Rise yet can buy the base game and expansion for $69.99. Pre-orders for all of those editions are available right now, except for the collector's edition, which will be available from GameStop in the near future. Now, if you do decide to pre-order, you will snag yourself the Loyal Dog and Striped Cat layered armor for your Palamute and Palico buddies. If you want more sweet layered armor on Switch, Nintendo is also releasing 3 new amiibo that will give you and your buddies some sweet new armor as well. As they did for Monster Hunter World Iceborne, Capcom has also introduced weapons and armor with the purpose of helping new players to get caught up in time for Sunbreak. The Defender weapons boast high attack power, while the Black Belt armor set and Veteran's Talisman should give players enhanced survivability. Now for the last of the boring stuff, those of you who are not picking up Sunbreak will still be required to download a 13GB patch on launch day. This patch will be required to play online, so make sure you have that space available. The patch will include things like weapon balances, item packs, and character customization options. But enough with the boring stuff, let's talk fun stuff. Let's talk about new locales. Sunbreak introduces 2 new locations to Rise, Elgado Outpost and the Citadel. Elgado Outpost will serve as the hub for this expansion and is occupied by the Knights of the Royal Order that Dame Fiorayne belongs to. In the Three Lords trailer, we get a nice aerial shot of Elgado Outpost, and together with clips from the digital event, we can get a general idea of where everything is located. The easiest thing to recognize is probably the canteen located here. There was no special cook mentioned, but you can see lots of dango on display, so no doubt Yomogi is involved somehow. The big area in the middle is the command post, where you'll find Fiorayne as well as Admiral Galleus, the commander of the Knights. I'm not really sure what this area will be for, as the main quest maiden is located elsewhere. Galleus might play a similar role to Fugen in Kimura, or this could be related to a completely different mode or mechanic yet to be revealed. Right out in front of the command post, we have the quest hub with Chichae serving as quest maiden. It is very heavily implied that Chichae might either be a princess or related to the royal family in some way, as I can't think of anyone else that Fiorayne as a knight and even Galleus as the commander of the Royal Knights would kneel to. Either way, Chichae seems to not hold much regard for her actual position, as she begs the others to just treat her as a normal quest maiden. Next to Chichae, we have the Smithy Minayle, which we can tell by the pipes in the roof, and this paw print sign right here, which no doubt is where you'll get your buddy armor made. Next to Minayle is the shop and melding station manned by Oboro the Merchant. Oboro is Wyverian and also does not seem to be part of the Knights of the Royal Order. I'll get to exactly why in a bit. Lastly, across from Chichae, we have Bahari, the quirky scientist. Also a Wyverian, I'm guessing that Bahari will be taking the role of teaching us new Wirebug moves, as well as arena quest manager like Utsuchi and Kamura. As for this area over here, I'm not really sure what it's for. If Sunbreak is like previous mobile titles, there will be no separate hubs for village and multiplayer quests like there was in the base game. In Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, G-Rank quests, which is what Master Rank quests were called before Iceborne, were all multiplayer quests, so it's doubtful that there's a multiplayer hub over here. One of these houses is likely to be your personal quarters. I also don't know if this thing here has any role beyond decoration, but it seems to be some sort of coal-powered crane of some kind. Now, when I first saw this shot, I thought this board was where you might manage your buddy's weapons and armor, but I was so focused on the board that I didn't notice that the statues are actually standing on a ship until I was editing. This then is probably where you send out your Meowcenaries. Also, I'll just mention this here since I don't know where else to mention it. Your item box is right over here next to Oboro. Before we move on, I want to take just a tiny little second here to pause the video and ask you to please like the video if you are enjoying the content so far, and drop a sub if you're feeling super generous. It really helps out the channel. Thanks a lot. Next to that board, we see what I assume is where you manage your Argosy requests, as the Palico here is standing on a miniature submarine. You can also see the crest of the Knights of the Royal Order on the banners fluttering in the breeze, as well as here emblazoned on the back of Galleus' uniform. In this scene, as we watch Chimera hunters in the canteen, a Palico drives by on a little train cart full of materials. Not sure if this is related to any game mechanic, but I did want to point it out since the track runs through the whole outpost. One last thing about Elgado, I did notice that all of the characters that are part of the Knights of the Royal Order are not only dressed somewhat alike, but they all have the same golden bird. The jewel on the bird is also colored differently depending on who's wearing it. I'm not sure what all the colors mean, but if I could take a guess, I would say that the jewel's color might be related to someone's rank or job. The blue jewel that Galleus has would then likely be related to command. In this scene, we see another unnamed female character standing next to him with what looks like the same blue colored jewel, though it's hard to tell with the shadow. She has a similar uniform, but it's colored purple instead of blue. Either way, she still looks like an officer, as her uniform definitely isn't made for combat. The guy standing on the other side is likely part of the branch of knights that take missions out in the field on the front lines. His armor and Fiorayne's are nearly identical and look a lot more suited for combat. They also share the same red jewel. Since Fiorayne was sent out into dangerous territory to lead the Chimera hunters to Elgado, it makes sense that those with the red jewel are the combat knights. Plus, this guy definitely has an excitable A-lister vibe to him, and I doubt very seriously he would like to stay cooped up in the outpost all the time. The rest of the colors are one-offs. Chichae has a turquoise colored jewel to match her uniform, which could be related to logistics. Minayle's is yellow to identify her as a skilled craftsman perhaps, and Bahari's is green, which is perhaps related to the research branch. Or they could all just be colored to match the main color on their uniforms, and this could actually be purple and none of this matters at all. But I thought it was an interesting detail. Overall, I love the character designs and how colorful and unique they are, yet they share similar elements so you can tell they all belong to the same group. Galleus is definitely my favorite. Oboro is the only one of the named characters that does not have a golden bird. He's also dressed very differently than the others, which is why I said earlier that he's probably not a knight himself, though I don't think it makes sense for a merchant to be a knight anyway. Finally, we can move on from Elgado Outpost into the Citadel. This new zone seems very vertical with snowy peaks that cascade down into lush green forests. In the middle of the map sits the ruins of a castle which towers over the surrounding terrain. I mean, look how tall these walls are. The zone seems massive not only vertically but horizontally. In this shot, we see hunters running in front of towering ruins, and we can also see an equally impressive looking set of ruins in the distance. In this shot, we can see a massive mountainous area with no ruins in sight. I can only imagine the hidden caves and secrets that this zone holds. I'm also getting a very Elden Ring, Zelda Breath of the Wild vibe from the castle ruins, which I definitely approve of. I also wonder if this zone will be like Hoarfrost Reach and Iceborne, with the different biomes scattered around and the large size. It could have sections that are closed off at first that need to be opened. Maybe they'll either add other biomes to it like they did with the DLC for the Guiding Lands. We'll just have to wait and see. In this huge Citadel map, we will of course have new Endemic Life. Capcom revealed two new ones shown here in the digital event, the Morphed Wirebugs and the Marionette Spiders. They don't really say what these do during the event, but they go into more detail on the website. The Morphed Wirebugs will come in two different colors, ruby and gold. Both will make it easier for you to initiate wyvern riding and will refill your wirebug gauge faster. The ruby wirebug will also make your mounted Punisher do more damage, while the gold will make the monster drop more items. The Marionette Spider can be thrown at a monster, like this Tigrex here, and then be used to force it in a certain direction. If you aim them towards a wall or an obstacle, this can injure them or even topple the monster. This seems very similar to the Clutch Claw Flint Shot mechanic from Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Now let's move on to some of the new actions we'll be able to take as hunters. If you were more observant than I was in this clip and watched the hunter instead of staring at how high the freaking wall is, then you might have noticed that in Sunbreak you will no longer have to wire dash to start wall running. The website confirms that you will simply need to dash, fall, or perform a midair evade towards a wall to run on it. If you don't like this, there is an option to turn it off completely or to set it to only be off in combat. There were a couple of new switch skills shown off as well. Here we can see a lance user performing an upwards thrust followed by a dive bomb right onto the Rathalos' head. This light bowgun skill appears to have your wirebug form a circle for you to shoot through, which I assume will buff the projectiles in some way. Next, we see a hunter with dual blades use his wirebug to grab a Zinogre in midair and fling himself toward it, ending in a corkscrew attack. Your buddies haven't been left out either. The Palamute here has a bowgun of some sort for ranged combat, while this Palico is playing a spearbird instrument that looks like it gives you a buff, and is very much like the Choral Orchestra gadget from Monster Hunter World. Hi everyone, Future Snork here with a hat because my hair is getting too long, need a haircut. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the first part of the video. This video is taking way longer than anticipated to get out. So instead of just like taking forever, I decided to just put the first part out so you guys can at least see some of it. So I hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, I hope you'll leave a like for me. That really helps me out, and share it with a friend. The next part should be out within the next day or so, and I'll be talking about the armor sets and the monsters, so that should be a good time. So thank you so much for watching, and happy hunting.